Howdy folks, this is Chris with Big Guys Hike 2, and today we're going to be going over the side effects of Mounjaro. I've seen a lot of people discussing online about the Mounjaro and how it affects them, so I thought I'd go ahead and do a video on how it's affected me. And like I said, this is just what I'm seeing from Mounjaro. So I went to the website and downloaded their list of side effects from the thing. And first they list some of the serious side effects that you need to report to your doctor. Inflammation of the pancreas. So if you get pain up where your pancreas is, you're supposed to report that. I have had no pain in my pancreas. I've kind of made sure I palpated there to make sure I'm not getting any kind of tenderness or anything like that, and I haven't seen any of that. And then also report super low blood sugars. I have a Dexcom G6 continuous monitor on, and since I started Mounjaro, before I started Mounjaro, my blood sugars were, I kind of had gotten them under control. I've had them all over the place since I've been diagnosed with diabetes. I think the worst, I was in the 500s a couple times, and then I was 300 at the beginning of this year, and when I went in. And so I've been kind of watching it, and before I went on Mounjaro, I'd gotten it so it was under 200 at all times. And usually what happens is I'm 130 to like 130 to around in 180 after I eat or anytime, something like that. And then every once in a while with diabetes, I don't know why, but it just spikes on its own. But it was going up to just under 200 in the 280s, 290 range. But it was staying like 130. Every once in a while, I would drop down to 110, something like that. I went on the Mounjaro and also on a another medicine that I unfortunately can't think of the name of it right now. But I went on that, and that medicine, what it does is if your blood sugars go high, it triggers your kidneys to start dumping it out of your system. And so when I went on the medication, I've also started going to the gym and working out and eating a low carb diet. And I switched from being a keto diet to a high protein diet, but trying to keep my carbs below 100 every day and really trying to shoot for 50 or below every day. But I don't get too worked up if I have a day or so in there at 100 or less grams of carbs per day. I just make sure I don't eat them all at one time. Anyway, so with the low blood sugar, I've been monitoring mine. And what's kind of cool is when I was on the 2.5, it immediately dropped down into spiking in the 130 range to 140 range. And I was staying around 110 to 100. Every once in a while dropping below 100. But it was staying in there. When I went to the 5 milligram, that's when I noticed it dropped even better. And I was in the 90 to 110 range normally, and only spiking into the 120, 130 range at most since I've been on the 5 milligrams. So I'm starting the 7.5 this weekend, and I'm hoping that it'll get down a little bit lower, because it gets a little bit lower and I'll actually stay within the normal ranges of somebody that's non-diabetic. So I'm very excited about that. But as far as dropping super low, I've only had I have an alarm set on my dextrose. So in the middle of the night, one time it dropped below 70 and it went back up. And so right after that, without me having to do any intervention. And that's the only time it's dropped low. But it is going down, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. But I'm not having any problems with the super low blood sugar. So another one is serious reactions. I'm not having any itching, scratching, anything like that. The worst thing I have is where the shot was. One time when I did the shot, I had blood afterwards, and that left a little bruise there. Other than that, all the other times when I've injected, I've had any issues at all. So I haven't had any itching, scratching, anything like that. Kidney problems. I get my blood work done by the endocrinologist. I had it done after I've been on the meds for a little bit, and there was nothing going on with that, so we'll continue to monitor that. Severe stomach problems. There are some of the milder side effects. I'm having some of those, but as far as severe, I'm not having any problem with that. Change of vision. My vision's actually getting a little bit better, and I think that's because my blood sugars are coming down, and my vision gets really bad when my blood sugars are high. It's one of the earliest signs I know that my blood sugars are getting high and staying high. Gallbladder issues. I've had stones in the past, and I've passed a few, and believe me, it's painful. And I resolved mine. I was supposed to get my bladder out, or gallbladder out, but I refused to do that. I'm not a big fan of just randomly taking things out. So I did the apple cider vinegar, lemon, turmeric drink in the morning, every morning for several months, and it seemed to resolve that issue, and I haven't had an issue since then. That was almost 4 years ago. And anytime I feel like I'm having problems with that, I just go back on the apple cider vinegar drinks in the morning, and that seems to help with that. But I haven't had any issues since. I do find that I am a little more sensitive if I eat a very high fat meal that's really high in fat, like or is a large quantity of fat. I do get a little queasy at my stomach more than I would from other foods. So, and I'm not sure if that has anything to do with that, but I definitely noticed that. So with all the severe effects, I haven't had any of those. So if you are, you should probably contact your doctor. As far as the most common side effects is nausea. I definitely got that when I first started taking the meds for, I think, the first 2, maybe first 3 shots. I'd get pretty nauseous. That's all gone away. I don't have any issues with that. As far as stomach and abdominal pain, a little bit of cramping the first week, but only right after I got the shot. I don't really have that anymore either. Next symptom is vomiting. I have had 0 vomiting. It's been a few times where I felt like I might be able to, but not overwhelming. I think what I'm learning is you can't eat a lot of food fast. I was in the Army for 22 years and learned how to eat super fast, and it's a bad habit of mine that I'm trying to work on. But if you eat fast, you are definitely going to affect your stomach with the nausea and the stomach and things like that. Next side effect is indigestion. As far as indigestion, I'm definitely having a lot of that. I get heartburn, and particularly when I work out and at night when I sleep. I take a Tums or 2 Tums, and that seems to take care of the issue. I also notice at night, if I eat earlier in the night or earlier in the evening for dinner, I don't have the indigestion. It's only if I get a late meal that it seems to do that, or if I eat a too large of a snack right before bed, I might get it. But I seem to always get it when I'm working out. And it doesn't matter what I eat before I work out or don't eat before I work out. It seems like I get that heartburn going at that time. And I think a lot of that is this medication slows down your digestive system. So it seems like the food just sits in your stomach. So I would compare it to, you know, how they say don't eat and exercise right away, because don't work out on a full stomach because it makes you feel, that's exactly what it feels like. Even if it's not really, like it's been a long time since you ate, you still have that feeling that, you know, I'm working out on a full stomach. That's about what I would say it's like. But like I said, the burps, I don't burp normally, and I'm burping a little bit with this, and I get hiccups a little more often now too, it seems like. But it's lessening as we go, but it's still there. Diarrhea is another common effect. I had that the first, I think four times I got, maybe the first 5 times I get the shot. I would get that the day, later in the day or the morning after I got the shot, I would have a little bit of a loose stool. The first time I got the shot, I had a lot of loose stool for like 3 days. And then after that, it was just seemed like the day of the shot. And then the last 2 shots, I haven't had any issue with that. And then the other thing you get is constipation. Even with the diarrhea, I'd get the diarrhea right at the beginning with the first shot, or the first day or so of the shot, and then by the end of the week, I'd have constipation. I started taking a stool softener, and that took care of that issue. But I will tell you, I used to be very regular where I would go to the bathroom every morning when I woke up. I would go after every meal, and then I usually would go one more time before I went to bed. And on this, I may only go 2 times, maybe 3 times a day. And it's usually not anything to do with what I'm eating. So that's kind of abnormal for me. But with the stool softener, it seems like I don't have an issue. I just go, it just not as often. So I'm just kind of, it's different for me. So I consider that a side effect. But it's gotten better. Like I said before, I was only going once a day. And there was one time where I didn't go all day and didn't go until the next day. And like I said, some people may be used to that, but for me, that's very abnormal. So I was kind of concerned about that. And then the last one is a decreased appetite, which I don't know why they call that a side effect, because I think that's really what you're shooting for with this medication. But my appetite decreased the day of and the next day of the shot, but didn't go away. And I would get my appetite, especially in the evenings, on the 2.5. When I went to the 5.0, it seemed like it worked really well, and my appetite went away, except for the last day or 2 days of the week, right before I get the next shot. Seems to start wearing off at that point, and I start getting an appetite, not an overwhelming appetite. Maybe I do my shots on Friday mornings, so Thursday evening, I do start getting that nightly craving, which is one of my worst cravings. I start getting it Thursday evening after I eat dinner. I feel like I need a really big snack on that night. So I've been just, biting the bullet on that, but I'm hoping with the 7.5, maybe that'll go away. So we'll see. But anyway, those are all the side effects I'm having. And like I said, most of the ones I'm having, they're all either gone or they're decreasing in their severity. And even considering I'm going up in medication, they're still going down. So even though when I went to the 2.5 to the 5 milligram, it didn't start over again. It was still decreasing. So that's a good sign. And I do weekly postings of my progress. So like I said, this weekend I'll be doing the 7.5. So a week later, I'll give you a report. So if you want to follow any of my videos and see what the 7.5 did, I'll add that to that video. So with that being said, I hope this helped a few of you that are trying to decide whether or not to do the Mounjaro, and also if you've already started and you're earlier in your progression and you're worried about some of the side effects or wondering how other people were doing it. I hope this video helped. So remember, plan your hike and hike your plan.